Addiction doesn't always look like a substance. Sometimes it looks like a notification. We scroll, tap, and refresh, chasing rewards we can't see but definitely feel. Maybe we're not addicted to our phones. Maybe we're addicted to the distraction they promise. According to Griffith's components model of addiction, behaviors become addictive when small, repeated rewards shape us over time. And our phones deliver those rewards perfectly. A message, a like, a tag, a sudden alert. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, every single day. Dopamine doesn't rise when the reward arrives. It rises when the brain anticipates it. And when the reward is unpredictable, like random notifications, the dopamine spikes even stronger. It's the same reinforcement pattern used in gambling machines, just redesigned to fit in our pockets. And if you look around, you'll see how deep this pattern runs. Across hallways, classrooms, sidewalks, the same downward gaze, the same scrolling rhythm. What we're seeing isn't random. It's the exact pattern Griffiths describes. A behavior repeated so often and rewarded so continuously that it becomes automatic. But the effects go deeper than habits. They show up in the body too. A 2019 study by Al-Hadidi and colleagues found that tilting the head forward while using a phone dramatically increases pressure on the neck, up to 27 kilograms. That's the weight of a small child pressing on your spine for hours at a time. We don't feel it immediately, but over months and years, it becomes real strain. And here's where everything becomes most revealing. We rarely think of our phones as addictive until we try to stop using them. A 2018 study by Ida and colleagues found that restricting smartphone use creates rapid, noticeable withdrawal-like symptoms. Not emotional, but biological. People reported tension, restlessness, and an urge to reach for their phones, even when they consciously tried not to. It's the brain reacting to the removal of constant stimulation, a reward system suddenly left waiting. This isn't overreaction, it's recalibration. But the moment the noise quiets, something interesting happens. Studies on digital detox like SMUX in 2020 show that even brief reductions in phone use improve focus, mood, and well-being. Not because life suddenly becomes more exciting, but because the mind finally gets space to breathe. Colors feel richer, sound feels sharper. You start noticing small details again. Details that were always there, just buried under the constant pull of a glowing screen. Sleep deepens too. Without late night scrolling and dopamine spikes, the brain slips more easily into a restorative rhythm. And everyday moments, a conversation, a quiet walk, a breath of fresh air begin to feel meaningful again. Not because anything changed, but because you did. What becomes clear is that our phones don't just demand attention. They shape the rhythms of our bodies, our minds, and even the way we experience the world. Over time, constant interaction creates patterns we barely notice. Tension in posture, subtle restlessness, and a mind trained to chase small rewards. Research shows that when these patterns are interrupted, even briefly, the body relaxes, the mind clears, and the world, long filtered through screens, comes back into focus. We notice things we had stopped seeing, a gesture, a sound, a color, and in those pauses, we remember what it feels like to inhabit a moment fully. The story of our phones isn't just about distraction. It's about the chance to reclaim attention, presence, and choice. To step out of autopilot and rediscover the simple act of being aware. The phone vibrates on the table, but this time, no one reaches for it. Because the real question isn't whether we're addicted to our phones. It's what we discover the moment the noise finally stops.